Hi, we are Team Academic Avengers, and we are here to tell you about the story of El Salvador, the first country ever to adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender. In El Salvador, where a significant portion of the population relies exclusively on cash and a substantial majority lacks access to traditional banking or mobile banking services, the potential for cryptocurrency adoption is pronounced. This Central American nation, grappling with limited financial inclusion, could greatly benefit from embracing digital currencies. In September 2021, El Salvador made the unprecedented move of making Bitcoin legal tender, requiring all businesses to accept the cryptocurrency. To encourage adoption in the country, the government developed its own digital wallet app called Shiva Wallet and offered $30 to each person who registered for the app. The introduction of cryptocurrencies, such as Bitcoin in El Salvador, has garnered international attention, as it marks a unique attempt to address financial accessibility challenges. By incorporating decentralized financial technologies, the country aims not only to provide an alternative to conventional banking, but also to empower those without access to traditional financial services, potentially transforming the economic landscape in the process. So, what were El Salvador's objectives, and how did its adoption of Bitcoin turn out?
There are three main reasons for El Salvador to embrace Bitcoin. The first one is increasing efficiency in international remittances. More than 20% of El Salvador GDP comes from remittances, meaning that a large part of the population depends on money transfers from outside the country. The second one is to decrease the percentage of underbanked people. Approximately 70% of population in El Salvador doesn't have a bank account. Bitcoin technology could allow a large part of the population to have an easier access to financial services. And the last one is to reduce reliances upon the US dollar. What are the plan's strengths? The use of the Shiva wallet have no cost. There is no commission to send or receive remittances, to make or receive payments, or to convert Bitcoin to dollars, or vice versa. The government tries to have the most range of support for all people to join the plan. The use of the Lightning Network is not restricted to a small retail transaction like buying coffee or lunch. It serves as a foundational layer supporting various use cases, including remittances by decreasing fees and time. And most recently, tech companies that invest in El Salvador will be acquitted of paying income and capital gain taxes for 15 years. Now we can talk about the weaknesses based on Alvarez and colleagues' survey in 2022. Almost 64% of Salvadorians have access to a mobile phone with internet, a prerequisite to adopt Shiva. Apps awareness was 68%. Most people spent their $30 bonus, however most of them didn't keep using Shiva after spending their bonus. When it comes to people low acceptance, the most important reason was that users prefer to use cash. In fact, over 50% of people only use cash. And the second reason was the trust issues to system and Bitcoin itself. On the other hand, slightly over 20% of firms accept Bitcoin, and only about 11% have positive sales in Bitcoin, and most of them convert them into dollars. The last things that we can mention is the World Bank has initially rejected a request from El Salvador to help with the implementation of Bitcoin as a legal tender.
Okay, and now we're gonna go to the impact of Bitcoin as a legal tender on El Salvador's sustainable development goals. The adoption of Bitcoin in El Salvador holds promise as a catalyst for achieving sustainable development goals, particularly to the first SDG, no poverty, and the 8th SDG, decent work and economic growth. Positive perspectives advocate Bitcoin potential to create jobs, attract investors, and provide financial access to marginalized population. This belief in Bitcoin transformative power is shared by the President, envisioning inclusive financial integration.
On the other hand, by becoming the first country to accept Bitcoin as legal tender, El Salvador also received great global attention, which had immediate implications for its tourism industry. According to El Salvador's Ministry of Tourism, as of November 2023, the country attracted 3 million visitors, almost twice as many as its peak in 2019 if we talk about its pre-COVID and pre-Bitcoin era, generating 3.4 billion USD in revenue.
However, concern arise due to Bitcoin volatility, posing risk for vulnerable informal sector workers, fluctuation in Bitcoin value, especially drastic drops, heightened fears among population largely rely on this sector. VCs struggle to align product price with Bitcoin unpredictability, impacting resourcing efforts and business with weak legal standing. In essence, despite its potential for job creation, investment, and financial inclusion, Bitcoin volatility presents economic risks. This volatility may hinder poverty alleviation efforts and impact sustainable economic growth, particularly affecting those dependent on the informal sector for livelihood. Within the scope of the 10th SDG, which is to reduce inequality, the initial aim was to integrate those excluded from the financial system. However, the transition towards digital currency has faced hurdles, leaving a gap between intended goals and actual adaptation. Disparity in technology access persists with segments of population lacking smartphone or the adequate digital currency. Skepticism prevails, especially among rural communities with limited technological access and electricity, potential exacerbating inequality.
With the adoption of Bitcoin, the 12th SDG, responsible production and consumption, and the 13th SDG, climate action, go hand in hand. Transitioning to cryptocurrencies may reduce deforestation by minimizing paper currency production. However, it has much larger negative impact on the environment. According to a study by the United Nations, from 2020 to 2021, if Bitcoin mining were a country, its power consumption would have ranked 27th in the world, and the resulting carbon footprint was equivalent to that of burning 84 billion pounds of coal. During this period, Bitcoin's water footprint was similar to the amount of water required to fill over 660,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools, enough to meet the current domestic water needs of more than 300 million people in the rural sub-Saharan Africa. The land footprint of worldwide Bitcoin mining activities during this period was 1.4 times the area of Los Angeles. Moreover, Bitcoin usage also raises concerns regarding cryptocurrency being a facilitator of criminal activities such as money laundering. Next, the adoption of Bitcoin in El Salvador has implications for SDG 9, Industry, Innovation and Infrastructure, and 17, Partnership for the Goals. To adopt Bitcoin, El Salvador has partnered up with numerous tech companies to carry out significant technological development to facilitate the transition from cash to digital currencies. Regarding Goal 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities, El Salvador used to be notorious for being a dangerous place for visitors with high numbers of criminal activities. However, the country has put significant efforts in making it a safer place for tourists, since it has become a lot more popular due to the adoption of Bitcoin. Using cryptocurrencies also implies that people should be less concerned about getting the cash route. Finally, moving to Goal 16, Peace, Justice, and Strong Institution. El Salvador's move to legalize Bitcoin as a legal tender was a pivotal step to solidifying institutional structures. However, its investment in Bitcoin caused a lot of controversy, with lots of Salvadorians against it. Plus, Bitcoin is very volatile in value, so this could have negative impact on El Salvador's political stability. Furthermore, adopting Bitcoin goes back to a previous point where concerns are raised about cryptocurrencies being used to fund criminal activities.
So now, what can be additional NFTs that can be used in El Salvador? The medical industry, for example. Imagine going to a new doctor or hospital. Instead of physically carrying your medical documents or having them sent from one doctor to another, your medical records could be digitized and securely stored as NFTs on a blockchain. By using NFTs, your medical data could be stored securely and encrypted, while still being accessible to authorized doctors and healthcare professionals. This could help reduce misunderstandings or errors in the transfer of medical information. For educational certificates, for example, NFTs can provide a secure and tamper-proof way to verify and share academic achievements. Instead of relying on physical certificates or paper-based records, educational institutions can issue NFTs that represent diplomas and other certificates. These NFTs can be easily verified and shared with employers or other relevant parties. When it comes to real estate, as another example, the ownership of a property can be represented as a unique digital token on a blockchain. This token would contain all the necessary information about the property. By using NFTs, the process of buying, selling, and transferring property ownership could become more efficient, transparent, and secure. And as a last example, the tourism industry. The tourism industry has great potential to leverage NFTs in providing unique travel experiences. Imagine being able to purchase an NFT that grants you access to exclusive tours, events, or accommodations in El Salvador. These NFTs could even include special discounts or upgrades, adding an extra allure for travelers. Furthermore, NFTs could also be used to create unique collectibles of tourist attractions or landmarks. This could provide a new way of traveling and remembering special places.
That wraps up our case study on El Salvador's Bitcoin adoption. Thank you for your attention.